Continuous praise to the Most High God, King of heaven and earth, even the God of our forefathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Yitzchak, and the God of Israel. To him and to him alone are all due praises. Brothers and sisters, we are congregation ShomrayHabreet, and we are the keepers of the covenant. We give thanks and praise to the Most High God for all things, for everything, even for bringing us here on this evening service, this afternoon service that we're having to give thanks and praise unto him. I think we had a very good morning service. We heard from my brother Maury Shire. Also, I gave a lesson this morning concerning the book of Judges and also our portion of Kukwat. And then we heard from my brother Sar Amadia, which I thought was very enlightening, very positive message. I thank the Most High God for his life. And we're going to keep this going this afternoon. This afternoon, we're going to take care of a couple of things. My brother Maury Shai is going to give us another lesson. We're going to try to have a sister to read the 8th proverb. And then we will get into a little bit of knowledge, wisdom, and trivia time. A couple of things, understanding, to see if what we've learned this morning, we've actually retained. That being understood, I'm going to introduce my brother Maury Shire and my Isha Koyakia. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. How y'all doing? Shalom, Ken. So, all right. So it's all good. All right. That's definitely a blessing. Okay, my brother Maury Shire. Shalom,
Shalom. Tob, Ani, Ata.
Tov, Toraya.
King. Zeto, me old.
I want to say Shabbat Shalom to a couple of people online. Akokawa, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
God continue to bless you. Kimberly Register, Shabbat Shalom. May the Most High bless you. Sarai, Shabbat Shalom. The Most High continue to bless you. Sarah, the Most High God continue to bless you.
Shalom.
And as always, a Sota, Shabbat Shalom. Praying all as well. All right, so we're going to get started. And everyone who we see their comments but don't see their names, may the Most High God continue to bless you all. Shabbat Shalom. And Shane, Shabbat Shalom right on back to you. So have it all. All right, brothers and sisters, we're going to get started for our afternoon service. I'm going to ask my brother Maury Yeshaya to please say a prayer on our behalf and on behalf of his family. Can everyone please rise and face the east?
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Elohenu, Borenu, Zurenu, Goalenu. Atahu, wa inki moka, bashamai moba adet. Tora rabaya, meleka olam. Habore ko arazo. Wagam kin ko ha anani barakuya ashabarata. Bayomam. Wagamet ha kama. Wagamet halabana. Wagam et ha eseb. Ki ata ziwita mitwa. Ki yitzmak min ha afar ashel barata. Wagam kin min ha dome ata yazarata adam. Wagam kin menu la kwakt ta et ishto. Wa ta he beta ota elayo. Wagam kin him hilwu lefaneka. Wagam kin bezedek beeneka wa anaknu ze ezahim. Elohenu we Elohe abotenu. Tora rabba kina tatalanu da'at alodotka. Da'at mitoteka, da'at toroteka, da'at kukweka, da'at kodebarima tobim asha atana tata le Moshe. Wegam king akio aharon. Elohenu we Elohe abotenu. Tora rabba ki ata patakta et enenu, patakta et ene morenu, wegam king morotenu. Abinu wegam et imotenu, wegam king bayakadim benotenu, wegam king benenu. Tiyana imish pakatnu Yahweh Elohenu, wagam king salaklanu, kapir kulanu, ake kunanu, ki anaknu hirshanu, anaknu kizabnu, anaknu hirwinu lefaneka, salaklanu, wagam king raket kulanu. Meko hadbarim hameluk lakim asha asinu beeneka bayad rama. Elohenu, we Elohe abotenu. Tiyana im haak aki yiftak bengdan wagam et mishpaknu. Wagam Kain na ya Elohim nu tia na in ko mishpakot ben Israel hayod in Wagam Kain asher him but burut aleinu atayo dea ish we isha Wagam Kain called the barehim but him Elohim nu we Elohim aboteinu no delifadeka kina tatala nu chayim al haaretz kina tatala nu mekwomo lagur Wagam Kain debarim Wagam Kain derakim ledabir al Debareka, Asha Atadi Barata El Nabieka, Mosai, King of all forefathers, the God of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yisrael, true, mighty, living in the only one, the one who sees all and is not seen,
Amen.
the one who judges all and is not judged. To you and to you alone, Yah, do we ask to accept our prayers, and if not ours, then the prayers of our ancestors, and if not ours, the prayers of our youth, O Yah, who are cleaner more than us. Mosai, King of all forefathers, the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We ask thee to forgive us of our iniquities and our shortcomings, O Yah. We thank thee for food, clothing, shelter, O Yah. We thank thee for the knowledge of who you are and who we are. We thank thee, Kiata Patakta Ene Morotenu, Wagam Ke Morenu, for you have opened the eyes of our teachers, male and female alike. King of all that there is, rock of all salvation through every generation. We thank thee, O Yah, for even a way to speak your word, O Yah, together or extended. We thank thee, O Yah, for even being with us when we knew not that you was with us, O Yah. We ask you to be with the sick of the house of Yisrael. Amen. We ask you to be with those incarcerated, O Yisrael. Especially those who are incarcerated unjustly. King of all that there is, rock of all salvation through every generation. We ask you to be with the brother who runs the congregation. Even Shomray Yitzhak and his family, oh Yah. Be with those that are online. Be with those who are online but don't show themselves, oh Yah, for you know all things and everything. Amen. King of all that there is, rock of all salvation through every generation. We offer to feel a prayer before you, oh Yah, and we ask you to be with us, guide, and protect us from danger seen and unseen. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Amen.
Hallelujah. Amen. Amen. Brothers and sisters, please be seated. Continuous praise to the Most High God, King of heaven and earth, even the God of our forefathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Yitzchak, and the God of Israel. Once again, to him and to him alone are all due praises. We give thanks and praise to the Most High God for bringing us here for our evening service. We're going to get started right away. My brother Maury Shai has another lesson for us. He also has a presentation along with that. So I'm going to ask my brother Maury Shai, please come forward and give honor and praise to the Most High God.
Shabbat Shalom, family.
Shabbat Shalom.
Giving honor and praise unto the Most High, the Creator, the Maker of heaven and earth, the one who sees all and is not seen, the one who judges all and is not judged. We can't emphasize that enough. We're talking about the one who delivers and who speaks to the people's mind. That's how we know of his existence. It's far beyond none. Who would know when women say men have a deaf ear to them? You don't hear me. You don't understand what I'm talking about. But yet, once it comes down to the Most High, he speaks about the hurt of the daughter of Zion. Men don't understand it in that particular case. You understand? When you sit there and you read in the Tanakh, candidly speaking upon the matter of the man that lies in wait to assault her sexually, the Most High compared him to a roseach, which is a murderer, a death penalty. Men don't think of those kind of things. Men who are not into that don't think of those kind of things. You understand? So once it comes down, say, to the particular matter, once it comes down to presenting a matter, there's nothing wrong with acknowledging those who have preceded you, because as pointed out in the prayer, Eloheinu, our God, patak et enehem, he opened their eyes. So, in due respect on a human level to the brother Shomray Yitzhak, the founder and operator and director of the congregation ShomrayHabreet, to his family, his Isha, the sister Yahia Bat Ashir, as well as pointed out the brother Mora Yiftak, the same tribe as myself. Interesting. My Imam claimed the tribe of Ashir as well, but that's another whole matter. But looking upon that and to land back on what we talked about, when one leaves this earth, like she used to say, if you say it in Hebrew first, Tanuli Haprachim, Kasha Ani Maria Kotam. Give me the flowers when I can smell them. Don't put them on top of the casket and going into the earth. That doesn't help anybody. That's the kind of rule she was with that. Looking in that particular manner. So when our teachers' parents begin to leave this earth, like Moshe was a parent, Aharon was a parent, I can only imagine thinking about earlier how I lost my Abba when I was 14 and I broke down, how Eliezer must have felt within a span of, say, 30 years, 20 years, or who knows. He done lost two of his brothers. He done lost his cousin and now his dad. So now he's the third son. He got to try to be there, a bigger brother for Itamar, and then be there for Elisheba, provided his Imam was still alive. We may not think of it like that, or we just reading in a book, but when you begin to see how certain things begin to happen and know a little timeline, we can see the human side of such. This is not going to be a long matter. We recently have been discussing offline, if you will, the matter of Shabbat. We meet up online, sometimes in person at the camp, on Shabbat. The significance of Shabbat. And I myself have not been the best Sabbath keeper. But I will say this. I know something dawned on me. You understand? When a matter was presented. I had a family member who, due to his ailment, he passed away. But he was known for saying to my side of the family, being a relative, when I die, I hope I die on your Sabbath. He used to say like those kind of things to us. And he died early one Saturday morning. See, my point is not playing judge or anything of that sort, but rather, brothers and sisters, looking at it, those kind of things let me know that there's no way to sit back and think whether or not, quote, Saturday is the Shabbat. The Romans were known for saying, what we Rome worship their God, Satun. The Hebrews, or what they called Israel, the Perigini, is what they called the Israelites during the times of the Caesars. They called the Israelites Perigini in the Roman era. You understand? And looking upon it as that, they besieged the temple during the time of Pompey, and then later on in 70 AD, on the Shabbat, because they felt that the Israelites would not want to give any fighting. And in the writings of the Romans, Tegris, if I'm not mispronouncing his name, of Rome, stated that we, the Romans, had easy access, for on Saturday, the Jews do not fight. So looking upon it in that, there are certain instances, knowing history, that we can get into to collaborate what we are saying. Now, brothers and sisters, I'm going to ask if the PowerPoint that is presented can be pulled up. Torah. Now, let's look at this, brothers and sisters. Shabbat Shalom. Giving honor to the Most High. This presentation is concerning how the Sabbath, a weekly event, is not based on a lunar counting. This is presented to you all from ShomrayHabreet. I was supposed to put an apostrophe between the B and the R. I apologize. All right. So we want to start off by greeting Shalom. Start off on what the day is about. Start off in whose name we're coming in. And hopefully the Most High accepts us. And start off stating what we're going to be talking about in said manner. Again, I do not present self as being in the understanding of Israel for X amount of years. as the best Sabbath keeper throughout my life. So now, how can we ever have a thought when the Most High gives us 6 days and talks mostly in the Torah about what we do on days that are not Shabbat? Did you know most of the laws do not concern the holy days? Most of the laws concern how we treat one another, such as honoring of parents, which is an everyday event, such as loving your neighbor as yourself, which is an everyday event, such as what you eat, which is an everyday event, because we're only told in Yisrael about fasting by law one particular day out of the entire year. You understand? Yes, the book of Zechariah talks about the fast of the 3rd month, the 5th month, the 7th month, and the 10th month. Yes, Israel have adopted for their own reasons, you understand, fast among themselves. But there's only a law that states concerning the timing of Yom Kippur, which is a yearly event, not a weekly event. So let's go on to the next slide. Thank you for the time. Definitions and reasoning. All right. Lunar, of, determined by or resembling the moon. Numbers chapter 28, verse 11, to let the book speak. And in your new moons you shall present a burnt offering unto Yah, 2 young bullocks and 1 ram, 7 he-lambs of the first year without blemish. Now, we can ascertain certain things from that. 1, let the animals procreate. The Most High speaks about being fruitful and multiplying. We do know that those animals that are offered are for the priests and the Levites to eat, because they don't have no land inheritance. So this is part of their monthly dinners. We feed our peoples, or people, let me say it like that take care of us. You're doing the work of the tabernacle. You need to eat. Your sons of Merari that are carrying things, you need to eat. Your sons of Aaron that are looking at people's stark naked, heaven forbid, for leprosy, you need to eat. You understand? And if you don't think the life of the Levites were busy, even after the 10 tribes of the northern kingdom fell as a kingdom, do you know there were not enough Aaronites in the time of Hezekiah to clean up for Passover? So the Levites, who were not Aaronites, had to help. So can you imagine if all the 12 tribes was there? Mind you, there was just the southern kingdom and sprinkles of Manasseh and Gad and Reuben and so forth. After Assyria took them in 721 BCE. By the time Hezekiah, king of Judah, came on the scene, there was no northern kingdom. It was just Judah's kingdom. And they still didn't have enough Levites. So you want to take care of those who take care of you. Or shall I say they weren't enough Aaronites, sorry. The Levites had to help their brothers, the house of Aaron, which brings us back to the portion earlier, don't forsake your brethren. Now, places where Kodesh is translated as month. Generally, Kodesh is understood as new moon. So let's understand that the new moon, even like this congregation observes the month of Zokir to be in the 4th month, after not naming it after the tea god of Babylon. You understand? It's the month of Zokir of remembrance. The new moon comes in and it determines when a new month comes in. Places where Kodesh is translated as month. Genesis chapter 7, Exodus chapter 12, Leviticus chapter 16, Numbers chapter 9, and Deuteronomy 16, so we can get our sources cited. There are over 3 weeks in a month. So let's see the breakdown of how the counting can start. Sha'a means hour. You go from hour, day, week, months, years, decades, centuries, millennia. So let's understand. There are certain things that you do in an hour. There are certain things you do daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. There's certain things you do every decade. There's certain centennial matters, certain things done every 100 years. And then, brothers and sisters, there are certain things done every 1,000 years. So now, the brother Mora Yiftach spoke upon the matter of brothers and sisters for edification purposes, right? The matter of Jubilee. Jubilee is every 50 years. So that is every 5 decades. So you will not look at what Jubilee is about, which is every 50 years, looking at hours, days, weeks, months, or so forth. That becomes important because then we already see there's a calendar within the calendar in Israel. So every day there was offerings done. Every week there was offerings done. Every month, as a new moon, there was certain offerings that was done, in addition to the daily and weekly offerings. But if we don't understand, brothers and sisters, elders included, that there was a seder or an order to certain things. And when people want to do, no disrespect what they want to do, you will find all kinds of crazy concepts. We in exile. We can't keep the Sabbath. Deuteronomy 20, here's a special one for this one. Deuteronomy 28 says, there's no rest for the sole of your foot. So we have no rest in the exile. But you are able to sit down and put it on Facebook. Harriet Tubman could not have used Facebook if it existed in her day. Her famous picture with the pistol, with the people behind her, that's having no rest for the sole of your foot. We don't want that. Don't call that like my no disrespect intended relative called, when I die, I hope I die on your Shabbat. And sure enough, he died on the Shabbat. We don't want that matter of life and death being in the power of the tongue to catch us like that. So when Israelites might try to use the curses as an excuse, as the weak character that Adam, no disrespect, showed, you know, Ha'isha Asher Natata Li, he not Nali Hab'reet wa Akati. Whoa. The woman I gave you of the tree, and you ate. So you didn't follow the word I gave you. You followed the woman I gave you. So instead of saying, Katati, I have sinned, like David did when he was exposed, if you will, no disrespect intended to Melech Dawid. That's why he has character, because when your spot is blown, it's me. I'm the man. You got me. Not the Adam way, no disrespect. The woman you gave me. So in other words, it's your fault because you gave her to me. See, that's why you need someone like Abraham, whom the Most High said, I know he will command his house. Not somebody that's going to say, it's the woman. We ain't doing that. You understand? Just like Rosh Hashanah pointed out, it was the Nisi'im, it was the princes that were judged. The Isha ain't stand behind them. This ain't a caste system like in certain Shemitic cultures. When the husband is put to death, she goes along with him. No, they don't do that in Israel. So now getting back to the point of this, there's hours, days, weeks, months, years, decades, centuries, and one leads to the other. Next slide, please. Thank you for the time. Remember, Luna means of the moon. So now if one wants to say that the Shabbat or the Sabbath is determined by the matter of new moon, how do you get that counting to fit when there's hours, days, weeks, months? If that is the full moon, we see this is how the moon looks on the 15th day of the Hebrew month. 2 holy days, Passover, which I'm also meant the Feast of Unleavened Bread, and Chag Sukkot is when you will see a full moon. I've seen it since I was a child. I've noticed it every year since 1987. We all went outside and looked. Yep, that's the full moon. 1988, Passover. Yep, that's the full moon. And back then in Israel, they stayed over in the camp on Passover. So we was allowed to go outside until, okay, it might have been tradition. Get back inside before midnight comes because of my wet or understood the angel of death. Point nonetheless, we were pointing out that I remember, and it's not about myself, we at Kosheri used to go in the 1980s and look outside and say, that full moon, every Sukkot, we did it at home, and we was at the camp overnight on Pesach, feeding to the Feast of Unleavened Bread. It was always a full moon. So my point in all of that is this. Passover is a yearly event, so it fits within a monthly counting. Shabbat is a weekly event. So it will fit within the counting of itself. What am I pointing out? You can get hours into days, days into weeks, and weeks into months. Since Passover, brothers and sisters, is an event that happens once a year, it will also fit within an hour, within a matter of a day, a week, because it's going to be a week of Passover, a month, and it's in the 14th month. Shabbat is a weekly event. So you can fit it. This hour starts the Shabbat. This day is the Shabbat. And this is the Shabbat of this week. But you cannot go past the week and still get into the Shabbat. No more than you can count a decade to try to get into the counting of Passover. Everything has its own timing and counting once we not chase the money, when men will not, no disrespect intended, chase the women, because the lunar Sabbath mentality essentially is Saturday's a beautiful day. We're going out. Ain't no camp going to tie me down, and I'm going to do me. That's what it is. That's why you don't see going into the Hebrew, going into the scriptures, going into matters of the history, and so forth. Going into counting. Let's look at counting as we go along. Next slide. Thank you, my brother. Genesis chapter 1:14. And Elohim said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. Now, I attempted to color code it. Let's see. Wayomer Elohim yehi ma'orot birkuya hashamayim lahabdil bein hayomu bein halayla. Here's the red part. Wahayu the totafot. The English says, let them be for signs. The Hebrew says, Wahayu lahayu the otot salika. Literally, that means, and they shall become. Because when you have haya, meaning to be or to exist, and the next word begins with the letter lamed, and we see all of that there in the red highlighted part in the Hebrew side. And they shall become for signs, and they shall become for seasons, and they shall become for days and years. So everybody in this world, like Isaiah 47 talks about, the monthly prognosticators and things of that nature, they base their calendar on a lunar and or solar and or extralar. That is to say, the sun, moon, and stars is how the world will use a calendar. The word for calendar in Hebrew is the same word for table. Can anybody in the chat type that in? The same word for calendar in Hebrew is the same word for table. Yeah, it does work that way. We know shulchan is table, but the calendar word also can mean table as well. All right, so just want to point that out. All right, so what are we pointing out? Genesis 1:14 is telling us that the sun, moon, and stars are for signs and seasons and days and years. Israel, in part, used that with the new moon, the keseh, the covering is in its darkness, the conjuncture, if you will. You understand? That darkness of the moon is a sign. Darkness was a sign in Egypt. You understand? So these things we want to point out for reasonable purposes. Next slide, please. Thank you. Genesis chapter 2, to let the book speak, brothers and sisters. And on the seventh day, God finished his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. And God blessed the seventh day and hallowed it, because that in it he rested from all his work which God in creating had made. All right, brothers and sisters. Why call Elohim b'yom hashbi'i malakto asher asa? Why yishbot b'yom hashbi'i mikol malakto asher asa? Again, attempted to color code it. Let's look. Why barek Elohim in the Most High he blessed at yom hashbi'i, even the seventh day. Why kwadesh oto, and he sanctified it. Ki bo Shabbat mikol malakto, for in it he, brothers and sisters, ceased from his work. On the seventh day, the last thing that the Most High created was the seventh day itself. So when you find people who don't want to keep Shabbat, what exactly is it in that particular case? Did Israel get it when they left out? The first one to keep the Shabbat was the Most High. So if we know it in our Bibles today, how do we not think that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob knew about it when looking at it to be careful upon the matter? Shem was alive when Yishmael, Jacob, and Esau were born. Did you know that? When Rebekah was pregnant, Shem, the son of Noah, was still alive because the years overlapped with each other. If Shem knew it, and if Methuselah died before the flood, and Shem lived through the flood, and Adam lived while Shem was still alive, then why Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob would not know about the Shabbats? You understand? You'll be surprised of the craziness that people will say when they don't want to keep the Shabbat. Let's go to the next slide. Thank you for the time. Exodus chapter 20, verse 8, let the book speak. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Zakor et yom ha-shabbat l'kwacho. Color-coded, what you see in the blue, ha-shabbat, the Sabbath. Bold type on the first line. The second word, et. That word et identifies it as a specific matter. It's called the definite article in English terminologies. That means it's not a Sabbath, it's the Sabbath.
Mm-hmm.
So that being the case, it cannot hop all over the place and then still be in its place. Now let's look, when you go in Genesis chapter 1, the Most High did what he did from day 1 to day 6. So if the Most High did what he did from day 1 to day 6, and we're going to show you that the Shabbat observance is in part of the commemoration of creation, and it didn't jump around from day 1 to day 6. Why will the Shabbat jump around? I'll tell you why brothers may say it, because the sister look good and so does that overtime. We're going to keep it 100. That's what it is.
Came, Shomray.
It's beautiful outside. Nobody in many minds want to be tied down, listening to somebody on YouTube, going inside of some camp, sending a bunch of whole other black people, and we know we gravitate with heat.
Okay.
You understand? So these are things that we want to point out for reference purposes. All right. So it's a specific timing and such. And I'm going to try to point this out too. If we really handle our business, what we can't talk about on Shabbat during the 6 days, you're going to enjoy the Shabbat. But if you are a Zelle, a lazy person, if you are a backslider, if you're a person who ain't about, quote, handling one's business, the Shabbat is going to be just almost the same to you, like an aliyah free kind of thing. You're not going to understand its reasoning if we're not doing the next part, next slide, so we can move on. Thank you for the timing. Exodus chapter 20, verse 9. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. That's not an option, like if you want another wife. Polygyny. It's not, or as the Zaquin pointed out, they don't call it polygyny, they call it divine marriage. That hit me when I heard him say that in the first service. But getting back into this here, it says what? 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. That is a commandment.
Okay.
It teaches, and it's not to promote my book. The book I wrote on Deuteronomy 28, I emphasize being reared in the understanding of Yisrael since I was a child. I remember wintertime coming in, got to get the dinner prepared starting on so-called Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Got to get the clothes done on so-called Thursday. You know, you best not iron. You better get them clothes done beforehand. Friday, quote-unquote Friday, you ain't doing your school homework. You'll do it the day after Shabbat on Yom Rishon before you go out Sunday afternoon to play. I remember never doing my school homework on so-called Friday because we was preparing the last stages for preparation day, as some call it, before the Shabbat coming in. It taught a discipline. And on Yom Rishon, you best not ask, can you go outside to play without your schoolwork getting done? Because this is part of those 6 working days that you're supposed to labor and do all your work. So yeah, before you go outside to play, you will get your homework done on so-called Sunday. So it taught a discipline, brothers and sisters. Pesach, not talking business, is not a how can I say this? It's not a cheap holy day.
No, it's not.
So when you may find some people, well, can't keep Shabbat, that's overtime mindset. Well, can't sit there and keep Pesach, I'm gonna keep this money. See, we want to sit there, brothers and sisters, and point this out, that Israel's way is an interdependent, non-lazy culture. Next slide. Thank you for the timing. Exodus chapter 20, verse 11. For in 6 days, Yah made the heaven and the earth, the sea and all that in them is. When me and my lady last week was over, no, actually this week, we was over in Costa Rica on so-called Monday, Yom Shani, and we went to the rainforest, the evergreen forest. I seen animals I didn't even know existed. Plants I did not even know existed when we was in Costa Rica. So the author is saying 6 days and all that in them is, because not everybody on earth knows everything that's in the earth. And traveling will open your eyes to such. And all that in them is, and rested on the seventh day. Wherefore Yah blessed the Shabbat day and hallowed it. So Exodus 20 is talking about what it says in Genesis concerning the Shabbat. The only day that has a name on it properly in Israel culture is Shabbat. Did you know, as pointed out, the reason why the Falashas, who are called that by the byword, who call themselves Beitar Yisrael, they are known as being Orit, which is the Amharic word for Torah, observance by the Shabbat. The Shabbat, like Ezekiel 20 says, was given to Israel to distinguish Israel from the nations. So now when the Portuguese in the 1600s are talking about, oh, we saw these group of black people in Abyssinia just observing the Sabbath, that made them different than the Agors and the Tigres and the Kavasas and the other tribes in, say, Ethiopia, because they was keeping the Torah. It made a difference between one and the other. I remember, may he rest in peace, Chief Naftali, talking about how somebody was wondering if it was quote unquote Saturday and saw him dressed the way he would dress on Shabbat and said, yep, it's Saturday. So it was already, you understand, a distinguishing in that particular manner. All right. So let's go on back. Let's go to the previous slide for a reason. So I would like to point something out, please. All right. So we notice 6 days shutdown labor. Sheshet Yamin, that first word. You see that there? Now go back to the slide where we was at. Ki Sheshet Yamin. That Sheshet word, brothers and sisters. All right. The second word you see there for those following in Hebrew is the first highlighted part in the yellow. I didn't highlight the word key in that for a reason with that then. The first word that you see there on the top line, reading Hebrew from right to left, you will see that word sheshet, and it's a specific 6. It's not just any 6. It's not shesh or shisha, meaning 6. It's a specific 6, because the Most High did what he did in a specific timing and counting of 6 days. So does the Shabbat not rotate. And we are commanded to work a specific 6. So it's not just any day that you can pick out of 7 and say this is going to be Shabbat. That 6 days is a specific counting. And it correlates your working in 6 days because the Most High worked 6 days. Next slide, please. Hebrew education. Sheba, 7. Shabbat, 7. The F that you see there in the second line stands for female or feminine. Then we have Shabua, which means week. So in Hebraic thought, the sheen, the bet, the ayin, meaning 7, is how by just inserting the waw between the bet and the ayin, you get Shabua. So in the Hebraic thought, a week has 7 days. And as we pointed out earlier, you go hours, then days, then weeks, then months. So if the Shabbat, brothers and sisters, is a matter of a weekly count, you will not use the moon lunar, which identifies the month count. No more than you will pay an hourly employee based upon how many days they worked. You will pay him and her based upon how many hours they worked. If you're in a managerial position and you work 5 days on quote salary, it don't matter how many hours you did, because you get paid per day. That's how we want to expound. Let's go on to the next slide and close out. Thank you for the time. Leviticus 23, to let the book speak. And you shall count unto you from the morrow after the day of rest, from the day that you brought the sheaf of the waving, 7 weeks, there shall be complete. Even unto the morrow after the 7th week, you shall number 50 days, and you shall present a new meal offering unto Yah. Now let's look at the Hebrew side, color-coded. No, Shabbat does not start in the day as the daylight. Well, I'll expound upon that after the presentation. Thank you for the question. Wasif Portam Lakem. Mimakarata Shabbat Miyom Hebi Akem et Omer Hat Nufa. Shabbat Tot. Timimo Tiyehna. That word Tiyehna, you see there in the red. I wanted to color code it. The purple is Timimot, complete or perfect. The green part there is Shabbat Tot. 7 complete weeks, 7 Sabbaths of counting, because the Shabbat is the ending of the week. So when you get into this particular manner, brothers and sisters, this is how we know that if it says even unto the morrow after the 7th week, you shall number 50 days. Within any 50-day counting, you're going to get a Kodesh or a new moon, because new moon is every 28 to 30 days. So if you're going to get within a 50-day counting a new moon, and this is telling you 7 weeks, but the Hebrew says 7 Sabbaths, how do you number the Sabbaths by the moon when you're still able to count days to get to a particular timing? This verse right here shuts down, no disrespect intended to anyone, the understanding of lunar Sabbath. Because in order to get to the timing of the Feast of Weeks, you have to count 50 days from the time the sickle is put to the corn. You put the sickle to the corn, you give that to the priest. Once that first one is there, that's the first fruits, as it's called, you count 50 days. 50 days, knowing that a week has 7 days, that is 7 weeks in 1 day. Within that time, you're going to get into a new month, because a month is every 28 to 30 days. So therefore, if we're reading this in Leviticus, that will throw the counting off if lunar Sabbath is correct. But again, when she looks Yafa and that Kesef looked Tob, that doesn't matter. That's what it is. And you don't disrespect to male matters, M-A-L-E. It's mostly males who promote, say, that kind of understanding and concept. You understand? To sit there and state that the Shabbat, which comes in once a week, and there are over 3 weeks in 1 month, but yet people want to say that you can use a monthly count to find out what you do in a weekly cycle. That doesn't work. When a woman has her uncleanness, Tum'ah is unclean. Nida means separation for edification purposes. Nida is the Hebrew word for separation. The word unclean in that case is Tum'ah. You understand? She has a monthly, heaven forbid, not a daily or weekly. Having relatives who, not to be disrespectful, suffered from fibroids and hemorrhaging and so forth. That's how I learned about those kind of matters. I didn't understand Leviticus 15 to the Nashim, or the woman explained it. So if in her normal health matter, she has a monthly cycle, she's not going to look at a weekly count. She's going to look at a monthly count. When her time of ovulation comes in, she looks at the matter of a monthly cycle, not an hourly or daily or weekly. So if the Shabbat is weekly, why will we look at a monthly count? I'll tell you why. It's because you want to do what you want to do. And people will make up things for what they want to do, as opposed to enjoying Yom Rishon. so-called Sunday. You understand? You want it the whole weekend. Don't give y'all any time. Huh? Next slide. Isaiah 66, verse 23. And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, says Yah. This does not denote that the new moon determines the Sabbath. This denotes that all flesh on new moon and on Shabbat will come to worship the Most High. That, brothers and sisters, is what that denotes. So we want to point out, brothers and sisters, for edification purposes, what we're conveying, what we're expounding upon, and what we're talking about, Torah with the time allotted. We do not, brothers and sisters, teach upon a matter of a lunar Sabbath for more than one reason. And let's close out this particular case, if we will. All right. And that's based upon this. Thank you for the timing. This is the last slide for the moment. And with the time allotted, I would like to address certain things and make it enclosed and then bring it out to the people. Because Sabbath is weekly, you have to look at a weekly count, not a monthly count. Yes, the moon was created on the 4th day of creation. So by default, the first Shabbat, the moon was 3 days old. Knowing that the moon looks the same every Yom Kippur, the 10th day of the 7th month, every Sukkot or Chag Sukkot, the Feast of Booths, the moon is full. And by the time you get your Shemini Atzeret, which is on the 21st day of the 7th month, you begin to see the waning of the moon. And then by the time you get to the week after Shemini Atzeret, you get what we call Etanim. Pardon me, you get the month of Bul, Bul being the 8th month. And then you begin to see the conjuncture or the Keseh, as Psalm 81 talks about. Then you begin to see the waxing of the moon as it begins to go toward the middle of the month. So, brothers and sisters, looking upon it with the waxing and the waning of the moon, looking upon it how Sabbath is a weekly event, so you cannot determine when it is by hour, day, month, year. Leviticus 16 talks about once a year is the timing of Yom Kippur. So if Yom Kippur comes in once a year, you will not look at the hourly count. You will not look at, brothers and sisters, the daily count, the weekly count, or the monthly count. You will look at the matter, brothers and sisters, of the yearly count for such. Now, one of the things to point out, somebody asked the question, is the daylight when the Shabbat starts. As we read in Genesis, it says, and there was evening and there was morning, the first day, the second day, and so forth and so on. So a day is constituted by the evening and then the morning. You had in the book of Numbers the evening offering and the morning offering, which shows that there was a timing that the evening or the Erev is the ending of one day in the beginning of another. So you have it to where Erev, meaning evening, coming from the root word Arab, which means mixture. What is happening is it is the ending of the daylight going into the darkness. You understand? And as somebody named Yisrael pointed out, Nehemiah 13 is how we know for sure, brothers and sisters, that it starts as the sundown, because they closed the gates as it began to get dark before the Shabbat. If the Shabbat had been in the daylight part, as we see as day now, they could have done it at Shakarit to shut the gate, which means dawn. Shakarit is the Hebrew word for dawn, which goes from the darkness into the light matter. So we just want to point this out for edification purposes. So this was not intended to be controversial, disrespectful, or so forth. We are all learning in Israel. It is no one knows everything. And in doing so, we didn't want to present it as my teacher said this, like I do with history. That's one thing. But when you're talking, and my history teacher, T. Simeon, would have said the same thing. Once it comes down to teaching on prophets and the Torah itself, I need not have to point out my teacher's names, just the book itself. If I'm going over Hebrew, yeah, shout out to Kohen Mikael. If I'm going over history, shout out to T. Simeon. But if we talk in Leviticus, it's Yah, and that's all that's needed. So, brothers and sisters, giving honor and respect to the Creator, the maker of heaven and earth. I give due respect on the human level to the lady in my life, Sarah Michaela of the house of Yahuda. And on the human level, I give due respect to the brother Mori Yiftach for the allowance of said time. With that, shalom.
Shalom.
Hey, shalom. Continuous praise to the Most High God, King of heaven and earth. Even the God of our forefathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Yitzchak, and the God of Israel. Mori Shaya, it's possible. Don't go too far. We got some questions going on over here. We got some things happening.
Okay.
So if you have a chance, get back on. We're not going to be able to avoid the Shabbat day conversation.
Right.
Because there are a lot of people who have different stances on how to observe the Shabbat. So we can't always think of it as, oh, they talking about me right now, or oh, they trying to put down this congregation, or they trying to put down that congregation. We have to explain why we do what we do and why we came to the different understandings that we have come to. All right. I'm going to give my brother Mori Shaya a minute so he can get back on over. But let's bring up Leviticus, the 24th chapter. Because I keep hearing this thing about the confusion of the Shabbat day and the Shabbat night. And, if the day is one thing, the night is another. Say Leviticus 24, yes, I'm sorry. Yeah. Just do me a favor, share your screen when you're ready. And I'm gonna show you that word day and night cannot be used separately in reference to a day. The night encompasses the day. The night is a phase of the day. The same way morning is a phase of the day. Afternoon is a phase of the day. Evening is a phase of the day. Night is a phase of the day. Dawn is a phase of the day. I don't want you finding yourselves where you're trying to separate the two. All right? Let's get to verse 1. Let me take down this logo here so we can read it. Okay, Leviticus chapter 24, verse 1 reads, Hallelujah. And Yahweh spoke unto Moshe, saying, Command Israel that they bring unto thee pure olive oil beaten for the light, to cause a lamp to burn continually. Without the veil of the testimony, in the tent of meeting, shall Aharon order it from evening to morning before Yahweh, continually. It shall be a statute throughout your generations. All right. So we look at this. When is Aaron supposed to do this? He's supposed to do it from evening to morning. Continually. That's every day, right? He shall order the lamps upon the pure candlestick before Yahweh continually. Now, I'm going to read the rest, but we're going to focus on verse 8. So we'll continue on from verse 4. I just want you to remember that. He lights these lamps from evening to morning. It goes on to read, he shall order the lamps upon a pure candlestick before Yahweh continually, and thou shalt take fine flour and bake 12 cakes thereof, 2 tenths part in the ephah shall be in one cake, and thou shalt set them in 2 rows, 6 in a row upon the pure table before Yahweh. And thou shalt put pure frankincense with each row, that it may be to the bread for a memorial part, even an offering made by fire unto Yahweh. Verse 8, every Shabbat day he shall set it in order before Yahweh continually. It is from the children of Israel an everlasting covenant. So I ask you, if it only had to do with day and night, why is the Most High God telling him to light the candles on the Shabbat day? It lets you know here, and it's clear that the Most High God is letting us know that the day and the night is all part of a phase of the day. Don't get caught up because you heard somebody teach you that because it says in that day and it doesn't say night, that the Most High God is only talking about one part of the day. I heard somebody in the chat, I believe it was Israel, that said in the book of Nehemiah, chapter 13, which we went over the other week, it does talk about how Nehemiah was telling us to close the doors of the Sabbath, to close the gates of the city as the Sabbath approached. They closed it that night as the sun was going down. We have a bunch of different things, but my brother Maury Shia, he did address this issue. So I'm going to let him address a couple of more of the questions that we have in chat. Maury Shia, you ready, my brother?
Shabbat shalom.
I can pull up the questions in order as they came if you want me to do that.
Please do that.
Why are we always off a day or two among different camps on the holy feast days? There is one basic answer for that, and I'm sure if I don't address it well, the brother Mar Yiftak may. There are Israelites who go by the dark moon or the conjunction of the moon, and then there are those who go by the crescent. So the conjunction of the moon is generally 2 to 3 days. And after those 2 or 3 days, you begin to see a crescent or a slither of the moon itself, called in Hebrew Saharon, by the way. All right. So looking at it in that particular case, that may be the reason why you will find some camps keeping Yom Kippur days apart, because one is going by the dark moon or the conjunction, and one is going by the crescent moon.
Absolutely, and just to be a little bit more clear, the reality is that the dark moon, as it was referred to, is a phase before the first sighting or before the first crescent. So you're always going to have the issue dependent on when that sighting happens. If we have our dark moon and then later that day they spot the moon with the first sighting, then we may have it on the same day. But from what I see, 9 times out of 10, you will always be at least 1 day off. If the darkness is 1 day, and then once the darkness goes away, they can't spot the moon, then the next day they spot it, then guess what? They're a day off. But I do want to tell you this, and I want you to keep this in mind. The amount of time between the darkness and the deciding of the first phase of the moon is a matter of minutes, if not seconds. I don't want to talk about people here, but what I am going to say is some of this stuff, if we're waiting for the sight of our eyes, there are some things that obstruct our view, especially in the world that we live in now with smog and with rain and cloudy days and fog, that may obstruct our view from sighting, from having the first sighting. So that's what I'll say about that. But to answer your question as of right now, that's why we're always off a day or two. 9 times out of 10, you will be either 1 or 2 days off. It's rare, except for people who follow what Maury Yeshai was talking about, a lunar Sabbath. It is rare that you will see a congregation 3, 4, or 5 days off on new moons. If you're going by either the dark moon, excuse me, not the dark moon, the concealed moon, is which they call it, or the first sighting, then you'll always be 1 or 2 days off. And I do want to acknowledge this, just so we know, so people have the knowledge. There are some people who say that the full moon is actually the new moon. So I want us to keep that in mind because that always adds another layer to it. But come on.
Okay. Moray Jaya, I believe, addressed this one already. So based on his understanding, Shabbat starts in a day.
Giving honor and praise to Yah. The Shabbat does not begin in the daylight itself. Case in point. And how we know that, for instance, evening and morning being one day. If we're gonna keep it professional. If a person, male or female, becomes unclean the night before the daylight of the Shabbat, he or she knows they cannot go out to the congregation or the camp on Shabbat in the state of being unclean. So that will tell us that if you became unclean at 2 a.m., quote, Saturday morning, at 9 p.m., quote, Friday night, that would tell us that you are still unclean after you wash yourself in the evening becomes. So that timing has to have something to do with the daylight itself.
I'm not trying to be funny. So did you tell them yes or no? The Shabbat day?
No, I'm saying that it does not start in the day. That's
Got
what I'm. It doesn't start when the sun comes up or so. Now you may see a lot of times in the Tanakh when it says from the rising sun to the going down of the same. That's because most people are up during the daylight hours. You understand? It doesn't mean that we don't praise the Most High at night, and so forth and so on. So, looking at it in that particular case, I was trying to convey that if a man and or a woman becomes unclean on quote Friday night, he or she knows that during the Shabbat, the daylight part, like it's day now, you're still unclean after you wash yourself in the going down of the sun or the evening of Saturday night to and so forth. So that's what tell you alone. If you become unclean, say 9 p.m., quote Friday night, or 2 a.m., quote Saturday morning, that will tell you if you know not to go out to the camp that has something to do in connection with the timing of the Shabbat. That's what I was trying to convey. Salika.
Man. I'm told.
Okay, hopefully that question was that answer was satisfactory. Were there any more questions?
Okay.
Why do people conclude that Shabbat is only in a day when other days of the week are equal or to 24 hours? I have 2 answers for that, if I may state. Kesef, money, and convenience. See, when you have to get off of your job, say at Friday, and you have to run around to try to handle things before the sun is down, or you might start it, say, the Yom Hamishi or the Thursday before. It's a little easier to just say, you know what? It's the Sabbath day, so I can do what I want to do, quote, the night before, or whatever like that, outside of becoming and making yourself unclean, which shows you that it's part of the day itself. And then we can just sit there and do it and say like that. One excuse, and I don't use that word to insult anyone, that Israelites would try to say is anything that they do not want to do, they try to say is, quote, Jewish. But such is not the case. This is why when we're teaching about the laws of Yah, when you're teaching the prophets of the Most High, it is not the wisest to always talk about your teachers at that. So if you're going over history of Hebrew, things that are nowhere near as important as the prophets and the prophets' even collaboration with the Lord, the Tanakh itself being the most important thing in that particular manner, it will behoove one, it will be wise if one will just cite just what the book states itself and not this camp, that congregation, once it come down to the laws of Leviticus, Exodus, Numbers, and Devarim. And so hopefully that answer was satisfactory and is a good question, because people generally who say the whole day and night matter usually wait to the Shabbat to usually try to promote it. I remember, no disrespect intended, I was talking about the birth of my little princess. And looking upon it like that, I was saying that she was born at, quote, 3:30 in the morning on, that calendar. It was like, oh, well, no, that's really nighttime. And the date is, so I said, then what date was my daughter born in? You tell me then with the whole day and night argument and so forth. And then there's Passover. It says that 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread. But we know good and well, brothers and sisters, about the whole matter, they was eating at night. So if a woman is unclean 7 days, is she clean at night? So hopefully those reasons and answers were satisfactory.
Mm-hmm. So,
why do we draw the line between the expectation to observe traditions that help us keep the Torah and the enforcement of said traditions to help us keep the Torah, wearing to feel in a certain way? Shalom, Zaymac. How you doing, brother? I believe this is something that some Israelites wear a tallit, some wear a tefillin, and so forth. But once it comes down to that, that is an individual choice. Once it comes down to how one wears a phylactery or how one wears a garment or so forth and so on, there is no set law outside of the four corners with fringes. You understand? Once it comes down into that particular manner. Hopefully that answer, Aki, was satisfactory. So I don't really know a specific answer on why many do it, on why they say, okay, we got to wear this a certain way and then wear that a certain way. When the Torah commands us concerning garments, make sure it's not mixed and make sure you got your fringes on. Those are the laws of the Most High concerning garments.
Those were pretty much all. Well, Kawakia had this one. I'm not sure what she's referring to. If she could put in the chat which one is correct. I'm not sure what she's referring to today.
all right. So here's the reality. And I see them going back and forth in front of the chat. Someone is right and someone is wrong. And listen, everybody can't be right? So here's the reality. ShomrayHabreet stands on the principles, and I teach everyone the Shabbat day, correctly observed, is from the darkness to the darkness. That's how all of our days are observed. So the Shabbat day is a 24-hour period, and all 24 hours are holy. That's not just for the Shabbat. That's all of the holy days as identified in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. As far as the new moon goes, the same sentiment prevails. Our new moon is from the dark moon or the concealed moon, whichever one you would like to call it. The world started in darkness, and in order for us to have a complete cycle, we have to reach the darkness again. There is no day of the month that does not have a concealed moon. So when we got to that point, we say that the same way we observe our Shabbat is the same we observe our new moon. So when the darkness happens, That's when we observe our new moon, from new moon to new moon. That can be cross-referenced a little bit in Psalms 83, the 4th verse, but we'll get to that another time. So to get to it, just so we understand where we are, I'm not here to talk about people and to talk about other congregations. But are you asking me, are other people wrong who do it the other way? Yes. You just have to get to that point. Yes, we are saying that you are doing it wrong when you do it the other way. And that's not to be like, that's why you shouldn't go to that congregation. All of us are coming to a level of understanding. We stand on the principles of what we understand to be right. And what we understand to be right, the Shabbat day is observed for a 24-hour period. The new moon is observed when you have the dark moon. And all of these things can be verified through scriptures in the Tanakh. I was speaking of the feast day that's on Sunday, I think Shavuot. Okay. I don't know if Maury Shia addressed that, but they're saying that Shavuot will always fall on a Yom Rishon because it says on the morrow after the Sabbath. Congregation ShomrayHabreet, we also stand on the understanding that the 6th of Siwan is Shavuot every year because we acknowledge that after the Pesach, the 15th day of Abib would be our holy day. And if that's the case, because the 15th day of Abib is always our holy day, then the 6th of Siwan would always be the holy day of Shavuot. The same way the 1st of Itanim is always Yom Teruah. The same way the 10th of Itanim is always Yom Kippur. The same way the 15th of Itanim is always Chag Sukkot. The same way the 22nd of Itanim is always Shemini Atzeret. Shavuot would always be on the 6th of Siwan. So can it fall on a Yom Rishon? It could, but that's if the 6th of Siwan falls on a Yom Rishon. And I think we had Shavuot on Yom Rishon this year, right? It was on the 6th of Siwan fell on the Yom Rishon. Right? Come on. Right, so we're a week off. It would usually work out like that. So if you acknowledge that the Shabbat has to pass before you start counting your 50 days of before you start counting your 50 days to get to Chag Shavuot, then yes, you will always be a week off. Almost every time. I think in a limited circumstance. I think like no, you'd always be a week off. I don't think there's a possible way. Because even like this year, Pesach came in with the Shabbat, right? Right before Pesach, the 14th of Abib was right before that. And then the Shabbat came. And they still waited, I think. Oh, no. The only way it would work, and this is like incredible circumstances, is if you observe Pesach the same time we observe Pesach, and that Pesach falls on a Friday night. So before the sun goes down, Pesach is there, and then the holy day is there, then I think in that instance, we would observe Shavuot at the same time. Other than that, you'll always be a week off, every time.
That was all the questions from the chat.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, my brother.
Sorry, I mean not to take up any time. This is the first time I observed Shavuot with the congregation, ShomrayHabreet, and it was very, very nice. The Ruach was told, and I suggest, this is not to be pressure or pushy or anything like that. When you get the chance, come out, when the congregation is open. Um, having been, and I don't need to name names, having been in camps and so forth, you can kind of tell there's a different ruach. And what I mean by that, offhand, real quick, is when this Shavuot happened, the brother Maury Yivtak and I was outside of our cultural garments, still, helping and assisting and doing what it is with each other as far as brothering goes, to sit there and make it a success. And I remember growing up saying, Israel, you wouldn't see the men doing that. It's the woman doing everything. And I mean everything. So I just that point alone, it's like, looking at it in that particular manner. It was very, very told. Told I.
Same. I always joke with my brother Maury Shy. I'd be like, man, I said this is the first time I seen you in years. Come out here, and, you got your lady with you and stuff like that. And I said, it's a beautiful thing. Let me just tell y'all something. I can only explain but so much to y'all. When we do things together, it makes everybody's work easier. It becomes a bonding moment. And guess what? We begin to appreciate each other more, right?
Yes.
You see everyone around and people's like, oh, you do this like this. Okay, I'll do this. What else do we need? Well, let's do this like this. Oh, blah, blah. It's always good when you have the same people, and trust me, I've seen it. When you have the same people doing the work all the time, all you do is burn those people out. And then when they're finally like, nah, I'm not doing all that no more, what do? Why not? What's wrong with you? We get upset with them and all that other stuff. No. The way communities work is by everybody working together. Everybody should have a job. And just so y'all know, that's something that I learned by listening to Saw Aharon. He said, oh no, the important part in building a community is making sure that everybody has a job. And he was absolutely right. So it's there, and let me just tell you, it makes you feel better about what you're doing too. Nobody wants to see somebody just sitting down doing nothing and everybody else is working. So, it's I feel it. My brother Koakia,
Sister.
I apologize. My sister Koakia. I look forward to seeing you out there also one day. And the outdoors are always open. I mean, outdoors ain't open this week because we are doing some renovations. But it's good. And once we work on that stair situation, I'm sure the Vera Naama, she's gonna be out there a little bit more. We're gonna take care of all those situations. So may the Most High God continue to bless you all, and we're gonna be doing it. We got some things in the works. It's all a beautiful thing. Okay. It's about 8 o'clock. So you know what that means. Knowledge, wisdom, and trivia time. So everybody, I hope y'all are ready for what we got in store. We're gonna have some good things going, and let's get started with our question and answer period now. Yakia.
Yes.
You're gonna be nice to the people, aren't you?
I'm always nice.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. All right, everybody in the chat, let's get this started. What is the meaning of kukwat? What is the meaning of kukwat? Open book test, y'all. Feel free. What is the meaning of kukwat? Okay. A quote by Sheva says statute. Oh. Quote by Sheva says statute. Elgin Barrow says statute. Akot Valerie says statute. Akot Sarah says statute. Maury Shia says statute. And our answer is, oh, Ko Asha, she also says statute. And our answer is statute. Very good. All right. Koyaki is being nice so far. I see what's going on here. All right. Meg Vera Rukama says statue. Oh, here we go. What does Yiftach mean? All right, question number 2. You have to be paying attention during the beginning of my lesson because Yiftach was not in the Sidra, but it was part of the Maftir's portion. It was the Haftarah. So what does Yiftach mean? Yeah, Ko Asha, she's on it. She answered real quick. Judge. Ko Asha, I'm going to have to bring you into Hebrew class. Maury Yisai says Yiftach means to open. Joshua, that's what we're going to do right now, bro? Joshua, that's what we're going to do right now, bro?
That's because that was your name. He didn't say it for the first one.
Right. You do all that, right? Okay, all right. Well, hey, Joshua, we're not skipping this one, bro. Not skipping. Akosota says judges. The Veret Rukama says, I agree. Wait, what you agreeing with, the Veret Rukama? I don't know about this one. Israel Falai says, we want a Samson question. Coach Sarai, you got to scrub forward a little bit. And listen, don't encourage him. Do not encourage him. Israel for Life says, nah, it means to release. To open up or to release. I'll go with that. Elgin Barrow says to judge. Really? Do not encourage him. Do not.
That's Labia.
Aura says he opens. Right. The very common says judges. Right. Opens. Kol Sarah says judges. Kol Basheva says open or release. Kol Sotad, did I get credit for my first answer? I don't remember what you said at first. Hold on. Let me get for you. Let me jump back up. Regulation on statutes. Yes, you do. You do get credit for your first answer. I thought Don meant judge. So what does Don mean? Interesting. Well, it's funny that you say that. All right. Our answer is he will set free or he will open. So, all right. Don means to judge. Mishpat or shafat is to judge. Mishpat is a judgment, right? Patah, yiftach. Patah means to open or to release, to set free. All of that type of stuff, right? So when you say yiftach, you're using it in the future tense, and it means he will open or he will set free. All right, here we go. What is the meaning of mariba? What is the meaning of mariba? You're beautifully made, incorporated. Really? Is that what we're gonna do right now? Is that? I know you don't want me to go there, but I won't go there. But I am going to say it would be the week, the 1 week. But I'm going to leave that there. Okay. Open or release. Correct, F. Maureen Allen. Okay, now what does mariba mean? Maury Yeshaya tells us it means contention. Basheva says it means strife. The Veret Rukama said it means bitter water. Interesting. The Kozapora says it means bitter. Israel for Life says it means argument. Kosara says it means bitter waters. Oh, the very Rukama. I think she wants to change her answer. And Akosota says murmur or argue. Our answer is strife. Strife. That is the answer. Mariba, coming from the word reeve. Reeve means to strive with one another, to struggle. That's the place where we struggled with the Most High God. We strove with him. Strife. Let there be no strife between my herdsmen and your herdsmen. Strife. Reeve. Mariba. Okay, next question. What is the meaning of horma? Oh, we got all these Hebrew words this week. This is what I'm talking about. What is the meaning of horma? We've seen this word twice. Not this week, but we've seen this word twice in the book of Numbers and not for the same instance. The meaning of ora. Mordecai Shai said it means utter destruction. What is the meaning of horma? The Rukama says it means destruction. Kosara says it means to ban or banning. Cole Valerie says it means destruction. Kosara says I'll pass on this one. You can take a guess. It's in the book. You gotta read. You gotta open them scriptures. It's somewhere in there. I think the children of Israel made a vow. They made a vow, right? When they made the vow, what was going on? Kosotai says to ban. Kol Asha says a banned or devoted thing. Ak Elgin says destruction. Kosara says horma or horma. That's interesting. But we got to get the Hebrew up there. It's definitely pronounced horma. Basheva says it means utter destruction. And the Kosara says, if horma, it's utter destruction. And Mora Yeshaya is rolling with you. Our answer is destruction. Destruction. Korma means destruction. Next question. Oh, y'all on it this week. Discussion question. Ah, shucks. Ah, shucks. What is the book of the wars as described in the portion? All right. So where do we find that scripture? I do believe it's Numbers chapter. Is it 21? Okay, hold on. I just want to get it. Okay. Numbers chapter 21, we're going to start from verse 13. Are you able to pull that up? Numbers 21, we're going to start from verse 13.
Yes,
and I choose not to borrow answers this week. Shabbat Shalom, family. Yeah, all right, listen. See, here we go.
One more time.
I'm going to get back.
I have it.
Come on. Can you read it for us? Start from 13.
From thence they journeyed and pitched on the other side of the Arnon, which is in the wilderness that cometh out of the border of the Amorites. For Arnon is the border of Moab between Moab and the Amorites. Wherefore it is said in the book of the wars of Jehovah, Waheb in Suppah and the valleys of Arnon.
Okay. So our discussion question is, what is the book of the wars of Yahweh as described in the portion? So, your beautifully made incorporated, whoever that may be, is talking about she's not going to borrow any answers this week. So that's all right. We got you. We'll see what's going on. We'll see. A Kosotai says that it's Second Chronicles, right? Thank you. Yep, absolutely. Maury Shai says it's a book we do not have. So is this a lost book of the Tanakh, or is this a book that is already in the Tanakh that has been renamed? So I always say, be careful of renaming things that it's not already inferred that it was renamed. Why are we saying that it's the book of Chronicles? Right? 2 Samuel 21:15. I'm presuming she wants us to bring that up. I'll just read it off, unless you got it. Yakia? You got it? Oh.
I'm getting it. Okay, I have it.
All right. So 2 Samuel 21:15. Mm-hmm. And it says, and the Philistines had war again with Israel, and David went down and his servants with him and fought against the Philistines, and David waxed faint. Hold on. So you're gonna have to explain to us why you brought up that portion of Kot Sarai a little bit later on. All right, we got a couple of things going on over here. So Numbers 14, F. Maureen Allen, but you didn't give us a verse. All right. Kosotai says, my mom floated on elsewhere regarding Chronicles, but is it Exodus 17:14? And this is going to be the last scripture I take on this before I make a statement on what I'm going to say. Exodus 17:14. All right, and Exodus 17:14 states, and Yahweh said unto Moses, write this for a memorial in the book and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua, for I will utterly blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. Okay, so this is what I'm going to tell you. There's a couple of books that we don't hear about. We don't read, but we read them. We don't see the books current day, but we read about them in the Tanakh. The book of the wars of Yahweh is one. The book of the prophet Edo, that's another. Sefer Yashar, that's another. There's actually a couple of more books that it refers to in here. I do not believe that the book of Chronicles is the book of the wars of Yahweh, even though the book of Chronicles details wars that were had. The Chronicles seem to have that pace of what was happening during the book of the Kings, right? In the era of the Kings. Even though it has history, that's before that. Whatever was happening when this statement was made took place between that space in history, the wilderness, Egypt, and before that. So I don't know what was going on in that book. I can't tell you what it is. I would tell you this: if it was that important, the Most High God would have left it on record with us. All right, but to absolutely answer the question, what is the book of the wars as described in this portion? I couldn't tell you. And I'm not going to make something up to satisfy it for you. I don't know what it is, but I do not believe it's the book of the Chronicles. And I do not believe it's any of the books that we read in here. And let me just tell you this. My brother Maury Yeshaya is now going over the book of Joshua. I want y'all to keep that in mind. In that book of Joshua, you read more about war in that book than anything else. You read more about how Joshua fought, lands being taken over, and things of that nature than anything else in that book. But that's what I have to say for that. Okay, next question. Did Aaron and Miriam die in the same year? Oh, discussion question. I'd like to hear this from the congregation. Come on, everybody. Did Aaron and Miriam die in the same year? And please justify your answer. Did Aaron and Miriam die in the same year? Okay. Cozy Cora says, yes, they did. Think so? Yisrael for Life says no. All right, so from the both of y'all. Co-Sarah Michaela says yes. We heard Maury Yeshaya talk earlier about everything that Eleazar was going through, right? Losing a father, losing a cousin, losing, what do you call that? Well, cousins, losing his father, losing his aunt, right? Eventually losing I said a father, but I should have said an uncle because I was thinking of Aaron, right? What's going on here? What's happening?
Shalom, shalom.
Yes, sir.
No, if I'm not interrupting you, what I was saying, where Eleazar is son of Aaron, he lost his two older brothers. He lost his Doda, Miriam, who obviously was an impression upon him because she was an impression upon Israel. He knew he was going to be losing his uncle, and he lost, maybe, I can't prove it scripturally, but for all we know, he probably lost his Iman too. So it's like, and then him just to be, here's your clothes, assume your duty, do what you do. It's we have to see the human side, of that as well. That's what I was trying to portray or convey. Sorry. Do I think Aaron and Miriam died in the same year? I don't think so.
Okay, tell us why not.
Miriam died, it says, on the way as they came up out of Egypt. And I know, if I'm not mistaken, Aharon died in Mount Hor. Miriam died somewhere different. So that's my 2-cent assumption without going to chapter and verse on why I believe, notice assumption and belief, that they did not pass away, say the said year. To my knowledge, she passed away before him, but I can be wrong on that as well.
No, she definitely passed away before him.
Okay.
So We see here in Numbers chapter 20, verse 1, and the children of Israel, even the whole congregation, came into the wilderness of Zin in the first month. And the people abode in Kadesh, and Miriam died there and was buried there. Now, as we get to later on in the same chapter, we see that the Most High God speaks unto Aharon, unto Moses. If we jump down to verse 23, and Yahweh spoke unto Moshe and Aharon in Mount Hor by the border of the land of Eden, saying, Aharon shall be gathered unto his people, but he shall not enter into the land which I have given unto the children of Israel, because you rebelled against my word at the waters of Meribah. Right? So, I definitely say that Aaron died in like the 39th year. You know, as we have this discussion question, I was thinking, I was like, did Miriam, Aaron, and Moses all die in the same year? All around that 40-year range? Because when they got to the border of Edom, that's when God, they was like right there. It was time to go in. And God said, he's like, tell Aaron he's going to be gathered unto his people. So I do acknowledge this. And this is what I want to bring to everybody. They were at Kadesh. And then after they were at Kadesh, the people strove with Moses, right? And after they strove with Moses and, you know, they complained about there's no water, which in truth they were quarreling with God. You know, the snakes came, they bit them, Moses had to make the serpent, all that other stuff, right? And then after that, right, some time had passed. Then they had to travel. They called that place Meribah. They strove with them. Moses hit the rock, all that other stuff. But then right after that, that's when Moses sent messengers unto Kadesh, right? So did all of that happen in a month span or a year span? I don't think they died more than a year apart from each other. But when it says that Moses sent messengers from Kadesh unto the king of Edom, that shows me that they were somewhere in the same area, because in verse 1, it says the people abode in Kadesh and Miriam died there. So I actually believe that they died months apart. But that's my 2 cents on it, right? Kodiakin, got anything? Okay. Don Elgin says, I know Aharon died after he was stripped of his garments, but I'm not sure if Miriam in the same year. Miriam died before Aharon. It is possible. No, Miriam definitely died before Aharon. Aharon died in the 5th month. I want y'all to keep that in mind when we read about that. All right.
I think they're saying yes because it's in one.
I don't necessarily subscribe to that. There's a lot of history that can happen in the same chapter. Man puts the information together. But, yep, that's it. Okay, Cole Bashover says, yes, they did die in the same year. Yeah, all of that. All right, let's move on to our next question. We were moving fast at first, and we hit these discussion questions. I got y'all. Another discussion. Oh, wait, not another. That's still question number 6. Number 7. Okay, what type of animal was used for the water of sprinkling?
You know, I had somebody, never mind, I'll wait till they answer the question.
Okay. Maurice Shire says, a red heifer. The verbal comma says a red heifer. Oh, Asha says a red heifer. Maury Shai says he saw a red heifer in Costa Rica. You should have bought it, brother. You should have bought it and you should have purchased it and bought it back for the children of Israel so we can start our farm. Right?
Understood and respected. It was a very, very red heifer, and we were shown pictures of it. That's how I saw it. I didn't see it with my eyes itself. I saw that somebody on the farm took a picture of it, but not taking none from what is being discussed. One of the scriptures that ran through my mind when me and my lady was down there was Psalm 50. It says, I, Yah, own the animals on 1,000 hills. And when you go to Costa Rica, on the hills, you will see the animals on there. You don't see that in Brooklyn. All right.
Gotcha. Definitely don't see it in Brooklyn. Yisrael for Life says red heifer. Sarah says red heifer. F. Marine Allen says red heifer. Adonia, Shabbat Shalom, my brother, says red heifer. Coach Valerie says red heifer. Coach Sotai says red heifer. Coach Basheva says red heifer. And the answer is a red heifer. It's found in Numbers 19, verse 2. A red heifer. Okay.
So somebody tried to explain to me that the dark brown cows that we see are the red heifer. Not actually red, the color red.
Okay. All right. Let's read the Hebrew. Numbers 19, verse 2. Hallelujah. Zot kuka haTorah asher siwa Yehovah lemor daber el bnei Yisrael vayikhu aleka para aduma. All right. So that aduma, as I said this morning, that's what they're talking about, the redness. Now, par is a bull.
Okay.
Para, the female bull, is what? A cow. There's a reality that if they are specifying that it's red, that there's something a little bit different about this animal. Para. So, there has to be a tint to it. Now, David was described as ruddy, right? And that's why you have people say it's that brownish, like, tint to it. I'm going to tell you that, unfortunately, when we think about red, we think red like this pen I'm holding up. And it doesn't have to be that level of red. It comes in all different shades. But I'm going to say that it has to be a tint of red to it, in spite of the fact that most cows are brown or black. All right, so that's what I'm going to. There has to be that level of red to it, and it has to be something that's easily identifiable. There's no confusion to it. So it's like, okay, that's the red heifer right there, and it's different from the other cows that we see. All right, ruddy is red, absolutely. Akota Zipporah says, I don't believe it's crimson red. I think it's dark brown. Absolutely. I agree it's dark brown. But it has a reddish tint to it. Right? Maury Yeshaya says, no, brown is kum in Hebrew. Right? In Hebrew. That's what it is. So, like bricks, I don't know about it like bricks. Bricks are kind of like burgundy.
Like burgundy?
Yeah.
Like this type of red.
It's a brownish red tint. Okay. And Adonia says there is animals indigenous to certain areas. The red heifer is real. I absolutely believe that. I've seen a red heifer on TV. I've never seen one in person. All right, come on. Let's get to our next question. On what days do you bathe yourself to be clean from the dead? Okay. On what days do you bathe yourself to be clean from the dead? Marie Shire, Coda Asha asks, can we see the picture you saw in Costa Rica of the red heifer? Is it like red clay? Okay. So we got some answers. Gavera Ruchama says on the 3rd and 7th day. Akosotai says on the 3rd and 7th day. Akadonia says on the 3rd and 7th day. Yisrael for Life says for the 3rd and 7th day. Ko Asha says on the 3rd and 7th day. Maury Yishai is apologizing to Ko Asha. She says, no, I'm sorry. Can't show you the picture, but in the future. F. Maureen Allen says on the 3rd and 7th day. Koakia says on the 3rd and 7th day. Very Zipporah says on the 3rd and 7th day. Kosarai says, 3rd day purify yourself, 7th day you become clean. And Ko Valerie says on the 3rd and 7th day. Ko Basheva says on the 3rd and 7th day. And Dome Elgin says on the 3rd and 7th day. Our answer is 3rd and 7th day. Numbers 19:19, which reads, and the clean person shall sprinkle upon the unclean on the 3rd day and on the 7th day. And on the 7th day he shall purify him, and he shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water, and shall be clean at evening.
Now I missed the reasoning. I missed your reasoning why you said the 3rd and the 7th day. I don't think I was on. Why was it 2 days?
Sure. All right, let's bring up the scripture so we can look at it. We're going to Numbers 19. I'm going to bring up my screen. Oh, if you want to bring up your screen?
I already have it.
Numbers 19:19. All right. It says, and the clean person shall sprinkle upon the clean on the unclean on the 3rd day and on the 7th day. So it's letting you know right there that that's what the person has to do. He has to have that sprinkled on him. Yes? No?
Yeah, but I thought you went into depth of why it was 2 days. Because I wasn't here when you was reading. I left.
No. The only thing I will tell you is because God said so. That's it. Why 2 days? Because God said so. That's it. There's no as far as I'm aware of, there's no spiritual connection to say when dealing with the dead, you 2 days of purification or something of that nature. All right. So the 3rd and the 7th day, those are the days. All right. Next question. True or false? You become unclean by touching the bone of a person. True or false? And for all of you who haven't subscribed to the channel, please continue to subscribe to the channel. For all of you who have recently subscribed to the channel, we thank you for joining ShomrayHabreet, and we would hope you would make ShomrayHabreet your spiritual home. I thank you all for joining us. True or false? You become unclean by touching the bone of a person. Okay. Here we go. Mori Shai says true. Akadonia says true. Baverukana says true. Akobasheva says true. Israel for Life says true. Koakia says false. Valerie says true. Asha says false. The Veruchama changes her answer to false. The Vera Zipporah is trying to keep herself in a safe space, and she's going to say a dead person. But I didn't ask about a dead person. I asked if you touch the bone. If you see a bone laying there and you pick it up and you touch it, do you become unclean? Sorry. A Kosara says true. Adon Elgin says true. A Kosara says false. The Verukama says false. A Kosota says bone of a dead person true, bone of a living person false. Let me tell you something. If you touch my bone and I ain't dead, I don't know what's going on.
Being a dentist, they touch your teeth or bones.
Oh my goodness. Deborah P, there you go. Says false. Ko Asha says bone of a dead person makes it true. Have I made y'all a little too analytical? All right. The very comment says dead bone. Okay. Cole Valerie says I'm gonna keep myself in a safe space and say Numbers 19:16. Whatever Numbers 19:16 says, that's my answer. Right? Vera Zipporah now says true. Yisrael for Life says depends on the bone. Cole Sarah says bone of a dead person. True. Cole Basheva, now she's jumping in on the act. Whatever Numbers 19 verse 16 says, that's my answer. Colt Sota says true, Coty, right?
Yes.
Cole Sarah Michaela says, okay, that changes everything, Moray. If it's a dead bone, then it's true. Coach Shamira says true. Carcass is a bone, correct? And now a Coach Koakia then changes her answer. Says, okay, true. Okay, true then. The very comma is now saying true. A Coach Sarah says, dentist working on my teeth. False. Does a dentist ever work on your tooth, the bone of your tooth?
Oh my goodness.
Y'all gonna start this stuff. Oh man. Cole Basheva says, I said what I said, Moray. I already said true. I was just giving scripture. All right. I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you. All right. Maury Shy got jokes behind the scene. I'm just gonna let y'all know. All right. Oh my goodness. All right. Our answer is, let the arguing begin. Our answer is true. It is true. If you touch a bone, not a chicken bone, not a rib, not ribs from a cow, but if you touch a bone, you're unclean. Let's bring up Numbers 19:16, just so we can start arguing a little bit more.
Yes.
The sun is almost down, so I'll be able to get out of this conversation quickly, right? I'm sure the chat is going to be on fire in a minute. They're like, what? So all of you who said false, you're wrong. No, verse 16, I'm sorry. Numbers 19, verse 16. So Akol Sota says there's two dental departments have need to access one bone under the gums to do their surgical procedures. Valerie,
that's right. That's my
Marcus at? Tell Brother Marcus I need him up in here ASAP. Clean ribs, clean bigger than unclean ribs. Okay, all right. I see where y'all at with all of this right now. Colossians says, a person's bone can break through the leg and they can still be alive as the doctor is setting it.
Right. So
what you gonna do? Deborah P says, I have to specify. They want some specificity up in here. Okay, all right. No problem. Go ahead, Koyak here.
No, I was saying it's still a bone, but the person's still alive. Does that make them unclean?
Let's go to Numbers chapter 19, verse 16.
And whosoever in the open field touches one that is slain with a sword.
Okay. No, go ahead. Keep reading. I'm listening.
One that dieth of himself,
Yeah.
or a bone of a man, or a grave, shall he be unclean 7 days.
Okay. So we're fighting in war, and I chop off somebody's arm with a sword. Can I pick up that arm and still be clean?
No.
Why not? He's still alive. I'm just saying. I'm just bringing some of this stuff on out here. Kosotai, I didn't say you could start agreeing with a co-asha. What's going on here? What is going on here? If you pick up somebody's bone, it is unclean. It's dead. It is dead. It's dead. It's dead. The arm is dead then. The person's not dead, but the arm is dead. If you touch a bone, it's unclean. All that other stuff, like if they go in for surgery and if they're doing an appendectomy or something of that nature and they touch a rib, and do they become unclean? That will be the subject of another question and answer.
Oh my goodness.
We're not doing this today, y'all. I know we are
cannot avoid their questions.
Say that again. You said we can't. Oh, we're going to the next question.
No, I said you can't avoid their questions.
I'm not trying to avoid their question. I'm just saying if you touch a bone, you're unclean. We come up with these circumstances where it's like, well, if I enter through the finger and I go a little bit deep and I touch a little bit of the bone because I'm messing with the nerve and this, that, does that make me unclean, Moray? If I touch my own bone, am I unclean? It is my bone, you know. What if I take my bone and I want to surgically reattach it? Then what? We not doing this. We not doing this. Not today. I know y'all want to go there, but we not doing this today. All right? So, no, the bone has become a carcass. See what I'm saying? See, y'all want to start becoming technical with me? And I'm just telling you. But what about the bone that's attached to the live body? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is the stuff I'm talking about. All right? Aren't we talking death or dead here? The arm is separate from the live person. Listen, I'm just trying to tell you. It's a funny bone. Okay, you know what? See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? See what I'm talking with y'all? This is and a cope by Chevy, you're encouraging them here. This is what we're doing. This is what, you know what? But I'm glad y'all are having fun. All right. I am glad y'all are all having fun, but I'm just telling y'all we're not doing this. We are not doing this. All right.
I got a bone to pick with you. Let's go.
Right. No pun intended. A bone to pick with you. I get it. All right. Let's go. Let's get to these next questions before we never get out of here.
Okay.
All right. Discussion question. Does the priest sprinkle the water of sprinkling upon the unclean person on the 3rd and 7th day, seeing that they are a priest? Is the priest able to do that, seeing he's supposed to be clean? Does the priest sprinkle the blood on an unclean person?
Water. What is sprinkling? It says a clean person.
Come on. Which one is it? Blood? Well, he's taking the blood, he's taking the red heifer and the water of sprinkling. And he's taking all of that, and the person, the clean person, has to dip it in his hyssop and flick it on there. Is the priest doing that? Well, I'll tell you, it seems to me that everybody wouldn't have their own water of sprinkling, that it would have to be somewhere within the temple. That's where you would get it. I also believe, and y'all know from my teachings, I always say that the priest has to be available to take care of clean things. He can't just walk around in its unclean state. They have to go in shifts. So I don't believe that priests dealt with the dead. That being understood. When it comes to that, the clean person might be a non-priestly person. It doesn't say a priest has to sprinkle it on you. It just says a clean person. Okay. All you have to do is be clean and have that water of sprinkling, and that person can dip it in the hyssop and sprinkle it on you on the 3rd and on the 7th day. That's all it is. I want y'all to go and let's go back to verse 19. Numbers 19, verse 19. Oh, you gotta get ready to close out. Our sun is going down sooner now. We only on number 11. See, I keep trying to tell a Koyak here, we be coming up with like 50 questions and we only get through 10. Oh my goodness. It's because you be making jokes over there. Here we go. All right, Numbers 19:19. And the clean person shall sprinkle unclean on the 3rd day and on the 7th day. And on the 7th day, he shall purify him. And he shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and shall be unclean and shall be clean at even. So to me, what I'm seeing here is that the priest is around an unclean person. Why would the priest do that when all you need is a clean person?
Right.
Right? But if the priest did it, as long as it doesn't prevent him from doing any of his duties, sure, why not? All right, we're gonna have to speed through the rest. Y'all ready for me? Let's go. Question number 12. What month did Miriam die in? Oh, I gave this answer earlier. What month did Miriam die in? I'm gonna need all you YouTube people to have your fingers on the keyboard. Oh, we're not using keyboards anymore, right? On your screen for you to type over your keyboard, whatever's happening now. Okay, Sar is not a month. Yisrael for life says the 1st month. Akol Sarah says the 1st month. Don Elgin says a clean person can sprinkle the water. Absolutely. Cole Valerie says the 1st month. Cole Asha, did you change your answer to the 1st month? Because the answer is? She trying to type quick. First, the 1st month, Numbers 20, verse 1. Next question. True or false? God told Moses to hit the rock twice. True or false? I got 15 seconds. Cole Asha says false. F. Marina Allen says false. Maury Shire says false. Yeish isn't feeling well, so he's resting. Best of day, Cole Valerie. We'll be praying for him as well. Cole Koaka says false. Cole Basheva says false. Cole Sotai says false. Cole Valerie says false. Deborah P says false. Sarai Michaela says false. Cole Sarah says false. And the answer is false. God told him to speak to the rock. Next question. Who is the king of Edom when the children of Israel were in the wilderness? Shamira, don't let me get started. Do not let me get started. End of our code, Valerie. Who is the king of Edom when the children of Israel were in the wilderness? Maury Shire says, some idiot. Our answer is... He did say some idiot.
You want the answer?
No name given. Our answer is? It doesn't say. That was another trick question. Right? Never said who the king of Edom was. Our next question.
It's not a question. It is a.
Interesting fact. Moses and Aaron were both buried in a mountain. Did we know that? Aaron had to ascend the mountain and he was buried. Moses had to ascend the mountain and he was buried. Keep it in mind. Next question. Scrambler. Okay, y'all gonna have to get yourselves together. The letters are TNCNOGGAREI. Okay, I'm gonna give y'all an answer to this one because it seems like there's a letter missing in here. The answer is congregation. If you put up the other one, if you notice, clearly there was not two O's in there. So I gave y'all that one. I didn't want to have y'all sitting there struggling all day. All right. The moray can mess up sometimes. Right? All right. Oh, wow. But they got it. Even with the missing letter. That's what I'm talking about. See what I'm saying? I told y'all my congregation got this. They got this. I'm just telling y'all right now. Asha, did you really say rigatoni?
Oh, rigatoni. Oh, my gosh.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Asheva. Yes, you did. Asha, we gonna fight. That's
oh,
what we're gonna have a righteous fight. That's what we gonna do. Rigatoni. Next one. 17, please. All right. The letters are OKCR. We would not struggle. Just talk about bones. Sotai, you are hilarious. Okay, here we go. Everybody's laughing now. All right. OKCR. Okay, we got it. Basheva says rock. Valerie says rock. Asha says rock. What scripture was rigatoni in? The book of Asha, chapter 142, day 7. That's what it was. Our answer is, I think now wait. Yo, Josh, bro.
Oh, wow.
I really did
there was
that
no court in his text. There was no court.
Did that on purpose.
Oh, my goodness.
Right. Well, aren't we the wise one? Yes, sir. Our answer is rock. Our next question. Oh, all right. Our letters are HHGWYAI. Again, the letters are HHGWYAI. Oh, Basheva is on it. I think she got a word scrambler over there. She is on it.
She's fast.
And she got it. Valerie too. They on it. They those ones they've been having it. Sarah says rock. She's a little bit behind. Sota says highway. Sarah says highway. Asha says highway. And F. Marine Allen getting in on the act. Cork and rigatoni are in the same book. I love it. I was not ready for y'all. Look at this. Y'all are hilarious. The answer is highway. Come on. Let's get through this. Number 19. The letters are P-E-W-T. The letters are P-E-W-T. Oh, man. Oh, Maury Shai said he said highway first, but I didn't check him over here in the private chat. I got you, bro. Okay. Oh, man. Well, I gotta give my brother Joshua credit. He got it first this time. YouTube did not have a delay. And everybody got it on this one. I can't even keep up with the comments. So everybody that's here, if you see your name, I'm not going to call off everybody's name, but you see it here. Everybody got it. All right. All of y'all are on top of it. I'm trying to say that one was too easy. I'm going to stop. I'm gonna stop. I got you, Howard. I know you was trying to type fast to get it in there, Kozapora. I know. All right, and so for question number 20, it is letters are PPIRSTDE. Again, those letters are PPIRSTDE. Let me bring up my seat door while y'all are getting that.
And it's one more after this, and then you complete it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Okay, we got an answer. Code Valerie was first, and I looked at the private chat. She says stripped, and then everybody else comes jumping in right after that. Where's your beautifully made incorporated? Oh, that's right. She said she ain't borrowing my ink this week, right? She probably on the road somewhere. I wasn't supposed to say that like that. He or she is probably on the road somewhere. Okay. Our answer is stripped. Very good. And for our final question. I forgot all about this word scrambler. Two-word word scrambler. Are we ready? Our letters are RIYFE. Second word is RPENTSSE. I am going to give a Coach Valerie credit. I think she'll be the first one to answer. I'm going to say Gavera Basheva may be the second person, and I give a Coach Asha a close third, but she's going to claim that her keyboard wasn't working right.
It was.
Gaveret Ruhama. Wait. Hold on. Let me see. Hold on. Because they're saying, Coach Basheva, I don't see your answer here. You trying to say that my computer's moving slow here? You trying to say my computer's moving slow? Because the first person who got it and I called it was a Coach Valerie. She got it. The fiery serpent. Yes, she did. Gaveret Rukama, Coach Sarai Michaela, F. Marine Allen, and Coach Sota saying, go Asha. I don't see Asha up here. Where's she at? All right, listen. Basheva, I want to see you come back, and I'm glad you're enjoying it here. So what I'm going to say is, I need for your computer to interact with my computer. I need for us to touch base so I can give you credit. All right. Adon Elgin says, fiery serpents. Ako Asha popped her head up for a second. She's like, here, I'm here. Gaveret Rukama, we got you, fiery serpent. And Maureen Shire says, we saw no serpents in Costa Rica, but they're there. Right there with the red heifers. I got you. Great fun lesson today. Amen. You gonna screenshot it? I told you I need your computer to talk on my computer. All right, brothers and sisters, we're at the end of our day. The Most High is good, and it's always great for us to learn together. Wait, I gotta give this last one. Let me find out that Brother Marcus woke up out of his sleep and was like, fiery, and he laid back down. Is that what's going on out here?
That's what happened.
It was like, I will not be left out of this. I will not be left out of this evening service. All right, brothers and sisters, our time is up. It is time for us to give our closing prayers. Glad everyone is enjoying themselves. Please let us give our prayers to the Most High God together. Can everyone please rise and face the east? Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Yehovah God, God of the heavens, the God of our forefathers, even the God of Abraham, the God of Yitzchak, and the God of Israel. We give you thanks and praise, Yehovah God, for all things, for everything, even for bringing us to the ending of another holy Shabbat day. We ask Jehovah God that you continue to be with us, guide us, protect us, and bless us, and bring us to the Shabbat day to come in safety and peace. Have it to be, Jehovah God, that the new friends that we've made this day will continue to be our friends, and we would understand how to be friends unto them. We would understand how to be a loving people to one another, and that, Jehovah God, we would always want to be around one another. I ask Jehovah God that you continue to bless us, keep us, guide us, and protect us. Have it to be, Jehovah God, that you would heal us from everything that we suffer from, in body as well as in mind. Jehovah God, as I come before you with this prayer this day, we recite the names that we didn't say earlier this day, but we knew that you knew by name. So therefore, we ask this day that you bless the members of ShomrayHabreet, Maury Yiftach, which is myself and my entire family, Adel Mordecai and his entire family, Maury Shai and his entire family, Gavert Rukam and her entire family, Lillian Matos, Lekemia Yisrael, Kashim, Ezekiel and Abir, Labir Yisrael, Mikal Maxon and Milan, Ima Havared and her entire family, the parents of Maral Almanar. I ask you, oh God, that you be with Akota Havia, be with Akot Kaza, be with Akot Asha and her entire family, the White family, the Register family, Moradina and her entire family, Akot Mavina and her entire family, Jada, Autumn, and Samaya. And I ask Jehovah God that you be with all of those who you know, who we may not know, and those whom we may have forgotten. I ask that you be with us all, keep us all, guide us all, and protect us all. Have us to have a wonderful time this evening. Have us to have a blessed week to come, and have it to be that we may never forget to praise and glorify your most high and your most holy name. All glory, honor, and praise to your name now forevermore. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Way amen.
Amen.
And at this time, brothers and sisters, we will recite the 136th Psalm. As a reminder, brothers and sisters, the 136th Psalm is a call and response. The way we do it is I recite the first part of the Psalm, and you recite in turn, for his mercy endures forever. Second here. The 136th Psalm. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Oh, give thanks unto Jehovah, for he is good.
For his mercy endures forever.
Oh, give thanks unto the God of gods.
For his mercy endures forever.
Oh, give thanks unto the Lord of lords.
For his mercy endures forever.
To him who alone doeth great wonders.
For his mercy endures forever.
To him that by understanding made the heavens.
For his mercy endures forever.
To him that spread forth the earth above the waters.
For his mercy endures forever.
To him that made great lights.
For his mercy endures forever.
The sun to rule by day.
For his mercy endures forever.
The moon and stars to rule by night.
For his mercy endures forever.
To him that smote Egypt in their firstborn.
For his mercy endures forever.
And brought out Israel from among them.
For his mercy endures forever.
With a strong hand and with an outstretched arm.
For his mercy endures forever.
To him who divided the Red Sea in sunder.
For his mercy endures forever.
And made Israel to pass through the midst of it.
For his mercy endures forever.
But overthrew Pharaoh and his hosts in the Red Sea.
For his mercy endures forever.
To him that led his people through the wilderness.
For his mercy endures forever.
To him that smote great kings.
For his mercy endures forever.
And slew mighty kings.
For his mercy endures forever.
Sihon, the king of the Amorites.
For his mercy endures forever.
And Og, the king of Bashan.
For his mercy endures forever.
And gave their land for a heritage.
For his mercy endures forever.
Even a heritage unto Israel, his servant.
For his mercy endures forever.
Who remembered us in our low estate.
For his mercy endures forever.
And has delivered us from our adversaries.
For his mercy endures forever.
Who giveth food to all flesh.
For his mercy endures forever.
Oh, give thanks unto the God of heaven.
For his mercy endures forever.
And I will sing this song as a solo. The 19th Psalm in the 15th verse. Let our song He left where Libby, Lefaneka, Yahweh, 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 Suri, Wegali. Shema Yisrael, Yehovah Elohim, Yehovah Echad. Hear, O Yisrael, Yehovah our God, Yehovah is one. We call Yisrael Imru. Amen. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable before thee, O Yehovah, my rock and my redeemer. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Why daber Yehovah el Moshe lemor, daber el Aharon we el Benah lemor, kol tevarku et bnei Yisrael amor lahem. And Yehovah spoke unto Moshe, saying, speak unto Aharon and unto his son, saying, on this wise ye shall bless the children of Israel. Ye shall say unto them, Yevareka Yehovah Yishmareka,
Cain im Yirazon,
Ya'ir Yehovah Panah Leka Wikuneka,
Cain im Yirazon,
Yisa Yehovah Panah Leka We'asem Leka Shalom.
Cain im Yirazon.
Yehovah bless thee and keep thee.
May it be thy will.
Yehovah make his face to shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee.
May it be thy will.
Yehovah lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace.
May it be thy will.
We'samu et shemi al b'nei Yisrael, we'ani avarekem. So shall they put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Brothers and sisters, you may be seated. Brothers and sisters, please find it in your heart to donate to Congregation ShomrayHabreet for all your tithes, for all your offerings, and all your donations. You can donate to Congregation ShomrayHabreet at CashApp, $ShomrayHabreet, at Zelle 917-804-6420, or at PayPal, YDHN7 at AOL.com. It is a suggested offering amount of $25. So for all your, and there's no amount too small if you don't have the $25, and there's definitely no amount too big. So for all your tithes, for all your offerings, and all your donations, you can donate to us at Cash App, $ShomrayHabreet, at Zelle 917-804-6420, or at PayPal, YDHN7 at AOL.com, and may your offerings be seen as righteousness in the sight of God. I want to thank everyone who has been contributing to the congregation. Your donations are very much needed. We appreciate everything all of you do for our congregation to help us keep going. We ask that the Most High God continue to bless you in all things and everything that we do. And we will move forward with our announcements. So, Koyakia, can you please give us our announcements? You don't want to keep it up there? Okay. First of all, the Works of Angels' Hands, in conjunction with ShomrayHabreet, has our food pantry. Just so everybody knows, we do have a food pantry operating out of Brooklyn. Every family has worries. Food should not be one of them, and we are here to help. Thursday, July 21st, 2022, from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. at 1568 Prospect Place, Brooklyn, New York, 11233, between Ralph Avenue and Buffalo Avenue. If you are a family in need, if you need help with your groceries from month to month, you can meet us out there. It is first come, first serve. Please bring your own bag or cart, right, to carry your items. But you can meet us out there from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Also, we are always looking for volunteers and things of that nature. So if you want to volunteer, if you want to do a good service for the community, please reach out to me at 929-420-7467 and let me know that you want to volunteer, and I will tell you what you can do and what time you should meet us out there. But our next food pantry date, the next date that we will be feeding the community, will be Thursday, July 21st, 2022 from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Next announcement, please. On the same date, July 21st, the Beit Shalom will be having their Love Thy Neighbor food pantry, which is distributing clean and healthy foods to the Hebrew community and our neighbors. Every first Thursday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for Hebrew families, and every third Thursday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. All families are welcome. The location of Beit Shalom is 730 Willoughby Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11206. For more information, you can reach out to our elder, Yeroe Yehuda, at 646-778-2593. Volunteers are also needed for this food pantry. Next announcement, please. ShomrayHabreet presents Hebrew class Tuesday nights with Moradina. I do have to apologize because last week I had some people waiting and I never opened up the room. But moving forward this week, this will not happen. Reading, vocabulary, writing, conversation, and weekly Torah reading prep from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. The Zoom ID is 690-591-3231, and the password is guidance. Please, brothers and sisters, join Moradina if you're interested in learning your Hebrew. Are there any other announcements?
Okay.
We are the keepers of the covenant. Torah study for the sisters talk. When? July 22nd, 2022. Not this Friday coming, but the following Friday. Psalms 150, verse 6, let everything that have breath praise Yahweh. Glorify the name of Yahweh with us as we bring in the Shabbat day with prayers, songs, poetry, scriptures, and testimony. We all need a little inspiration, so let us inspire you. Ako Yakir, do you want to say anything about that?
Yes. If anybody would like to join the Torah study, please reach out to me to yakia7@gmail.com. And for those who have my phone number, you can give me a call.
All right. And, if you just want to give a testimony, if you want to sing a song, this is the Torah study for it. We're all going to be out there and we're going to be giving thanks. Well, the sisters anyway. We're going to be giving thanks and praise. So everybody, please join us for it. And whenever the sisters get together, it's usually a very good Torah study. Come on, any more announcements? Hint Magazine, Hebrew Israelite Nation Times. If you heard my brother Saul Mario this morning, he was talking to you about Brother Nikemia from Hint Magazine, right? The Juneteenth issue is out now. Please support. Aptly titled Freeish, right? Since 1865. Remember, the hard copy is only $6. The digital copy is only $2. I'm encouraging everybody to buy a digital and a hard copy. Dedicate $10 to your brother, right? We need our own literature. This magazine has articles from different Israelites throughout the diaspora, right? Lets us know about what we're going on and how we're thinking about things. So please, let's support one another. Are there any other announcements?
Just one more.
Step Up Academy, in conjunction with the Zion House of Israel Temple, does stories from the Tanakh, Old Testament stories for children, every Saturday, 10:30 a.m. to 11 a.m., on site in Barbados and online via Zoom. The Zoom ID is 827-4106-4239. And the meeting password is Betty Sheep, as you see it written up there. Anybody looking to contact them, you can contact them at 246-237-5117 or via email at zionhouseofisraeltemple@gmail.com. Please note, this is a safe space for minors, so all participants must be identifiable, meaning that you must show your face once you enter into the Zoom room. You cannot have a caricature or just a picture of a menorah or things of that nature. You must be able to show your face. Any other announcements?
Kane.
Couple of things. I'm gonna let you go in 1 second, Maurice Shai. I just gotta get this out while it's on my mind. August 14th. Let me check my calendar. August 14th. Hold up one more time. Sorry about that. No, August 13th in Virginia, there will be another Unity Shabbat with Beit Yeladei Yisrael. They will be down there. Those of you who are following us on social media, we do have the advertisement up there. We're going to get it up on the screen so we can promote it week by week. But please join them down there, even for another one of our Unity Shabbatot. If you missed the last one, here's another one you can get to. All right? They will be down there. Please support them for that. Also, our sister Hab'reet Rukama, she has books that she's selling. Please support her in the books that she's selling. She has about 6 different books that she's selling that I can think of right now. We're trying to get her advertisement up there, but please reach out to Hab'reet Rukama and please support her in her books. I'm going to put up that banner in a minute. Speaking of books, our resident historian, Maurice Shai, has a promotion to give. Go ahead, my brother.
Okay, shalom, shalom. Giving honor to the Most High. If we can pull up the slide that was done earlier for me, please. Toda.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, and keep going. Go to number 13, the one after this, I think. All right, it's the summer sale. Now, when I made the PowerPoint, obviously I didn't go into this on Shabbat. I can be reached at 908-587-4841 or my email, yyisrael22@yahoo.com. One can get the books advertised for a deal that you will not find online, only by me, the author of those and other books. There is a book coming out dedicated to the camp, ShomrayHabreet. If you like the history presented, you must get the book that is coming out. You all heard the info on how to donate to the camp. Asuhu, do so. Shalom Yisrael, told out for the patronage. So what I'm showing there is you can get any one of these 3, right? That is, now that I got the flyer up, from Averis to Alabama. Now, Averis was the place where the Israelites was in ancient Egypt as captives. Alabama is one of the last places in the United States where one of the slave ships went to. So that book covers that history, chronological with that. Egypt Talking Writing. This book deals with the evidence of the Israelites in Egypt, the Exodus, who was the Pharaoh, why do I state such, so forth and so on, what is meant by 600,000 came out, and so forth and so on. And of course, Deuteronomy 28, History Untold to the Masses. So these are shortened books that one can get. So let's say if you wanted to get the bigger Deuteronomy 28 book, right, which is this one right here, right, for $20, you can get that and any one of the smaller ones of your choosing for free. So one would have to contact me personally by the info there, 908-587-4841, or by email, yyisrael22@yahoo.com. And of course, the book my lady wrote, Chronicles of a Black Woman's Soul. This book too is available. Poetry book for those who are interested. So we want to get our literature out. Shout out to the brother, or elder to me, sorry. Adon Nehemiah. I wrote for the Hit magazine, very professional, so forth and so on. Again, behind the scenes, the brother Moda Yiftak and myself, we're going to come out with a book, and that one is called From Kemet to Compton. And what I mean by that is showing the chronological time, citing sources like Root of Windsor, citing sources such as James Usher, for those who know in the 1500s, who try to sit there and hide Black history, showing and bringing all of this stuff out that we want the people to sit there and have in that particular case. So giving honor and praise unto the Most High, the creator, maker of heaven and earth. Shalom.
Shalom. All right. That's a deal. Okay, lastly, brothers and sisters. Next week, ShomrayHabreet. We are having a family gathering. I'm going to say a family gathering. I'm talking about congregation, families, and our families. So everybody, please come on out. You guys are invited. You still must RSVP because we do have limited space. And, you know, COVID cases are still around. Keep telling everybody. So please RSVP with me at 929-420-7467. And all you have to do is say that we'll be coming. You'll let me know who's coming. It will be taking place from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. So Congregation ShomrayHabreet is located at 1568 Prospect Place, Brooklyn, New York, 11233. Once again, our address is 1568 Prospect Place, Brooklyn, New York, 11233. Not this Sunday, but the following Sunday. We're going to have some stuff for the kids, so bring the kids on out. We should have the tent up, so we're going to be in the backyard. We're going to be doing some things. We're even going to see if we can have the grill going. And if we have the grill going, then we'll be doing a whole bunch of different things. We're going to be, you know, doing what we do. We're going to be having adult fun. We're going to be having kids fun. We're even going to see if we can bring the video game out there for them. So we're going to do all that stuff. And our renovation should be complete. So the place should be sparkling nice. All the good stuff that we do. So please come out and enjoy ShomrayHabreet. May the Most High God continue to bless you all. Everyone get home safely. Lava Tov L'Kam.
La Tov L'Kam.